Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CDL Playoffs. It is day number 2, and it's time for our elimination match here at the Galen Center. It has been so amazing to be with you all, and we cannot wait to guide you through our next match. It's Lando, it's Standy, and boy, do we have an excellent matchup ready for you. Stud, it's OpTic, it's Ultra. We've been here before. The desk just broke it down. We've seen this match so many times previously. How do you expect this one to go?
I don't know, man. So far, Toronto, they've had their number the entire year, man. Ever since picking up Insight, they're 4-0. They win a majority of this series 3-2. Well, at least they split them. 3-2 and twice.
Right.
And then 3-1 in the other two. But I just feel like if OpTic want to have a chance at winning this tournament, this is a hurdle that they have to get over.
Yeah, this has been, what, the hurdle, the one plague for them they have yet to overcome.
Yeah.
We talk, so often about how this OpTic team, they have potential to win majors. Well, this has been the team that has been in front of them every single time. Well, you've heard a little bit from us. Now it's time to send it to the stage. It is Golden Boy to introduce us to our teams.
All right, everyone, it's elimination match time. Ho, ho, ho. And we got ourselves a great matchup lined up for you guys. But you know what, folks? I don't want to waste any time. You know how I roll, so let's go ahead and bring out your first team representing the Windy City. It's OpTic Chicago.
Mighty keeps it going in. Formal, looking fantastic. Envoy slaying his way through. Scump from up high, the king.
I'm out here doing what they thinking is irrational.
Really starting to run that score, Robin.
I'm gonna make it bad, take it back, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, OpTic game in a bag. Chicago are a force to be reckoned with.
And welcome back to the stage, OpTic Chicago! It's last chance saloon for OpTic as they are going up against what many could claim to be the boogeymen of OpTic Chicago with Toronto Ultra. This team has a lot on their shoulders, but they have broad shoulders indeed, because you got Scump leading the charge, the king, looking to lead this team to victory. Formal, a legend in multiple FPS titles, but has cemented a legacy here in professional Call of Duty. And let's not forget about Envoy and Dashy. They're looking to bring it here today against a squad that has been a thorn in their side all season long. But now it's time to bring out their opponents. We saw them fall just a little while ago. Can they bring it back? It's, of course, the Toronto Ultra.
Me, the cheap friends these days. I don't put my trust in no but the teammates. Boogle, no taking no recess, no beaches, the THC till we make it proper. Kim and this should be the best and feed the
10 seconds left, nades are up and about. Bam gets the kill, walking out to Damn, he didn't be able to play his life. Still alive. Why has no one killed it? Inside now to save the day. There it is. The trap's still set for the kill box. They can't get out right now. They go to the other side. Inside there with an easy 6.
To be the best and feed the rest. Cause need a little bit of knowledge.
Making their way to the stage, the Toronto Ultra. Ultra receiving a hero's welcome from this very lopsided OpTic fan base here, but the Ultra have looked clean against this squad, and despite the loss, despite some of the setbacks, I think it's safe to say that the Toronto Ultra are poised to try and move forward in this competition. They finished in the top 3 in 4 out of 5 majors. This is a squad not to be reckoned with. But for this EU roster of Vance, Cammy, Kleenex, and Insight, one has to wonder, could they be going home here today? But now it's time to start your third match of the day. You got OpTic, you got Ultra. Let's get it on and send it over to your casters, Lando and Standy.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. A wonderful introduction and a great storyline now set up for this match that now sits before us. As we mentioned, an elimination game. Loser, you're sitting home top 6. Winner does advance in the elimination bracket to at least see another day. But oh boy, we got to talk about what it takes to get this job done, and we're taking a look at our game fuel keys to victory. Stud, walk me through Toronto.
Yeah, so you've had their number the entire season so far, especially in Search and Destroy. They are dominating them 6-1, and this is something that Chicago, so far throughout playoffs, this is their struggling point. They have to get better at Search and Destroy, and then also, the tissue has been, he needs to be an issue. CleanX in that series versus Dallas didn't really have a hot one. 0.65, -30 with the kill department is just not acceptable. You need him to step up, especially as that main aggressive SMG. And then hardpoint is where Ultra can really rain on OpTic's parade. They're 4-6 versus Chicago, and they didn't really look good versus the Empire, dropping both of them there. So they really need to step up in their hardpoint early into this one.
Yeah, oftentimes you ask yourself, you know, how does a team really begin to rebound? Just hours ago, off of that Game 5, Round 11 loss that they suffered to the Empire. We'll see how they look to try to change things up coming into this match. But now, our game fuel keys to victory here for OpTic Chicago and playoffs this year. 0-3 Search and Destroy record up to this point. The only way that they improve in that mode is using more teamwork. You heard Joe mention that on the desk constantly. Communication is so important in that mode for this team. Also, Scump needs to continue to be the man on the mission. The king has reclaimed his throne, if he didn't already previously have it. A 1.28 yesterday, and we look at him oftentimes to be the player for this roster, and so far here at playoffs, he has been so dominant. A 1.28 KD stud. It feels like we've kind of wound back the clock a little bit.
Yeah, man, like the guy's just Mr. Consistent, especially Scump champs. Like, this is what he lives for. The guy's trying to go out there and get his second ring. He's the king for a reason. So far, he's leading the troops in the right direction.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, our maps and modes for this series: Checkmate Hardpoint, Moscow S&D, Raid Control, Raid Hardpoint, and if it comes down to it, all the way to a Game 5, it would be an Express Search and Destroy. We circle that one. We put some hearts around it. We hope that we can get there. Also, map vetoes listed below. So then we take a look at this first map, Checkmate Hardpoint. We've seen this one, a fair amount of times between these two.
Yeah, we definitely have. I'm pretty sure every single series that they've played has had a Checkmate Hardpoint in it. So this is going to be a big point because, at least in the opening hardpoints, this is where OpTic see a lot of shine. They are 4-1 versus the Toronto Ultra team. They're usually getting off to a good start, but if they do not bounce back in that Search and Destroy, that's when you let Ultra back into this series.
Yeah, that's a great call. It's been OpTic, playing well off the start, which is what you want to see them do, but it's about that consistency, getting into the Search and Destroys, getting into the controls. Ladies and gentlemen, this is elimination match. Let's make some noise. There we go.
There we go.
All of us incredibly interested to see who will progress and who is headed home in top 6. As we mentioned, elimination game, and we start things off on Checkmate Hardpoint. As you mentioned, Stud, pretty much a classic match between these two. Battled numerous times, and actually the first time they faced off, which it was in the very beginning of the year, it was OpTic who started off like 200-7. A much different story now all these months later, but you hear the crowd already in Chicago's favor. One of the keys to victory, mentioning how do they feed off of that energy, and we're about to find out. Toward the top plane we go, and not the best way to start off a team kill.
Definitely not the best way to start off, so that's going to be an early 3, make it 4 dead. You have 3 players from OpTic already spawning all the way at P5. It's all going to be on Envoy. Try to make a play happen. He's able to find one, taking his time, and unfortunately he's going to lose that gunfight. So right off the rip, Ultra able to get into this P1 hardpoint and immediately flip these spawns. This is not the best case scenario right now for OpTic.
Yeah, that is not the best case. That is the worst case scenario to possibly be in if you are an OpTic fan, considering, hey, we got preferred spawns. We're trying to fight, contest for P1, and it's been exactly the opposite. Spawns flip now at the hands of Ultra. 29 uncontested points so far for the boys in purple. But now the race begins. 10 seconds left at P1, but the focus is going to be now at our money hill toward Yellow Crates. Formal looking to try to make his way up toward this far bottom side of the map, but he gets met with the nade from Vance.
So now the spawns are coming in. Toronto still have control, but Envoy, he's able to sneak through and get one. Scump also finds a second, so that's going to be enough pressure to spawn a couple players from Ultra all the way across the map. And just when we thought Ultra had control, OpTic break in, and now they're going to be set up.
Yeah, that doesn't happen all that often considering how P1 goes, but there you have it. OpTic break right back on in and put themselves where you wanted to see them at the very start. Scump, the player to look out for, unfortunately does drop at the hands of Bance, but it's Dashy to pick up right where he left off. As we said, Stud, Scump has been so great so far throughout this weekend. We look to see him continue to put on performance like that, but you cannot forget a guy like Bruce. 5-2 on the 5 spree for the time, and streaks very well. Could be in his future. That's now going to be 6, one more. And that's going to be huge for Chicago if they're able to earn it. You want to play around these. You've got the last 10 seconds wrapped up. Takes down Cammy, and that's the artillery. One more away from the cruise, and how great could that be? Last one right in front of him. And that's going to be 8 in a row. Can he make it 9? Having somewhat of information in terms of where CleanX is, but great coordination, gets taken down, but you're happy with that. You got both streaks.
Definitely are happy with that. Even though it is checkmate, streaks aren't really going to be useful, but just starting off hot for Dashy, you can just tell he's such a young player. Getting that early momentum underneath his belt is going to be great, and that's going to be 3 down. Toronto now spawning out towards back P2. OpTic are on point right now. They consistently are just flipping the spawns when needed, and with 30 seconds remaining on this P3 hard point, they can set up properly for that P4.
Yep, sitting pretty right now. A Scump shuts down CleanX toward the top side of the plane. In moments like these, you always wonder, what do the comms sound like with this roster? They've got the crowd behind them. How do they react? Let's go to a listen now with OpTic Chicago.
This was playing to me. I don't know where he went.
Help right, I'll help hold. Yo, is it P5, P5?
Yo, two turning. I know. One more ring. Cammy.
Nothing new.
Nice, 2.
Inside P5 and 1 top plane, right?
Yo, he stopped playing CleanX.
Yo, he's top plane.
Top plane P5.
One's still P5.
Play dead.
One quick, guys.
Yo, we spun. Yeah, he's backward. I'm one shot. I need help, Bruce.
Hit him in point, Matt. Hit him in point.
Bruce, I need help here.
Top plane.
Inside, watch out. One bullet.
Top plane.
Their side, absolute Bance.
That's dead.
Are we still fine? We're good.
Bance is at midpoint.
Yeah,
You can cruise it, yeah.
Wait,
Put it our side. Put it our side.
I don't see my wing.
Top plane.
Top plane, CleanX weak.
Looking left wing.
Putting it our side.
We're playing dead. CleanX still top plane.
Maybe one more side.
Yeah, exit.
Let's
go. Hit him out.
Absolute wall box still. Nice.
Alright, all their side.
Is it already in dead? Another one midpoint.
Yo, midpoint. Midpoint one missing.
Yo, they're tractor. Watch out. I'm naded. I'm getting naded. Yeah, I'm dead.
I'm going new.
Bottom bricks. Bricks.
Yo, one's bottom left wing.
We need to hold,
They're
guys.
hitting stairs.
Get graffiti.
One's out. Front time. Weak.
He's contest box.
Graffiti Vance. Good.
Yo, front tower. I'm weak.
I'm
He's weak CleanX.
It's absolute.
Nice, 3.
Let's go to me. Yo, it's Cammy. Cammy's on new.
He's on new?
He was.
He's on new.
Yo, block guys. Block.
Yeah, we're good.
Yo, garage.
He jumped over the wall.
Inside garage is weak.
One's A control Bance.
Roger is dead. Front hill. CleanX weak. CleanX weak in time. He's under wood wall. 3. Last guy. Stay alive.
20 tower.
Back jets, 2 tower, maybe 3 red crate right now.
Gens, Vance. Oh my god.
Just stay down, Matt. HyDra across the hill.
Yo, one wood, gens. One gens.
Yeah, right side wood.
Let's see wood. Gens with hill. Cammy, absolute time.
Wood, side wood.
Cammy's absolute time.
Nice, good job. Drop our nades.
Vance.
Drop nades.
He has no trophy now. I'm hitting right.
I didn't hit him.
Give me time still. They're playing steps. They're exit inside. Just holding.
I pushed right.
Inside the exit, guys.
I heard that. Side wood, Bance.
Yo, they got me. 2 old.
Side wood, Bance.
Let's go in their steps right now. Steps right now, CleanX.
It's small.
I'm hiding. I'm playing stacks.
Nades, stairs, dead.
One's in new.
Low left wing cam.
Yo, in small got me. He's weak inside. Inside weak in small.
All right, got to check in with the comms there toward the end of our first set of rotations. And really, Stud, like I said, it was OpTic kind of leading the way, but Ultra, a good P4 and great control P5 did not allow for those OpTic spawns to do all that much.
Yeah, they did a great job, especially at that P4 hardpoint, because OpTic, they were able to break in with about 30 seconds left. And when usually you're having that spawn for that P5, you're able to get a good chunk of time off of that P5 hardpoint. But with CleanX being in there in that position early, he was able to shut down 2. But Envoy, he answers right there with 2 of his own. Make it 3 as he takes control of playing by himself. He's the pilot now.
He indeed is the pilot, and the destination is now under his control. A few players enter in toward the perspective, and while he does in fact drop, the presence is without a doubt felt, and that's a play that you want to see go off. Had somewhat of a slower performance yesterday, Stud.
Yeah, but right here with OpTic, only 10 seconds remaining on this P1 hardpoint, you do not want to mess up once again. You need to make sure that you're holding this, because they got a full 60 last time. Toronto were able to immediately get flipped out. But the pressure's starting to come in. Scump is going to drop. Bance actually wins one from the front side as well, but he's immediately going to get traded. OpTic are holding still.
Yeah, good crossfire despite the early contests out of Ultra. The SMGs trying to be incredibly sneaky. Cammy fighting himself toward the back. That's going to be 1. So with that, OpTic's focus instantly becomes toward where is Cammy hiding? Where is he located? Takes down Formal once more. So the push, as you see in the bottom left of your screen, starting to formulate, while OpTic is also spotting out. Cammy has yet to drop, and just like we saw on the first set of rotations, it is now this time Ultra claiming control here at P2.
And that's great work from Ultra because this 30 seconds is so huge. You're going to go to the middle of the map and just pay attention to the mini-map. Look at what Bance is doing. He's immediately trying to flip these spawns. Kills going back and forth. Cleanex with the big 2-piece, but with OpTic dropping a couple players, they're going to start spawning all the way across the map behind that P2 hardpoint. Ultra, you're not really mad about this. 10 seconds remaining here. They're going to be able to get set up for that P3.
Yeah, and that has to hurt if you're OpTic, given the situation, given the circumstance, but going to be down by about 40 points. We'll see how they begin to try and regain. Nice long shot coming through from Envoy. It's Ultra already at the next rotation toward bottom plane. Not a hill that you often see a ton of time really get accrued. It's about that positioning, where you want to be located on the map for A Street and that upcoming P5. But great clearance to start here from OpTic. That's going to be 3 to Ultra's 1. Trades, the 1-for-1s without a doubt favoring OpTic, and Scump having Cammy run right into his lap as they jump on in, and now they've got control of bottom. Happen to be aware of who could be on the flank. Bance, as always, trying to be incredibly annoying, be a thorn in the side. Formal's there to take him down.
But this is good work overall by OpTic, even though they haven't really got a good chunk of time here, only being down by about 35 points. Dashy and Formal still picking up kills left and right, but now it all comes down to this P4 hardpoint. That's going to be 3 dead, so OpTic are going to be here early. With that player dropping though in Envoy, Dashy finds 2. No one's going to be on this hardpoint, and just look at the minimap. Ultra are starting to spawn out towards back P2.
Positioning for Ultra could be quite good here. We'll see as that starts to change, and just like that, the read. Communication from OpTic is stellar. Great work to notify and be aware of that split spawn. You had players looking every single direction, and how important this time now is for OpTic. Down by 20 points is Cammy and Insight. Currently holding it down right now inside of the HP. Dashy goes for the challenge. He gets dropped, and that's a few down for OpTic in a row. Ultra now reaching that double century mark.
And Cammy just made an unbelievable play. He was the only player on this side of the map. He was able to win not 1, not 2, but 3 gunfights on the hard point. He's unfortunately going to get stuck by a nade by his own teammate in Benjamin Bance. But still, Ultra have the spawns for that P5. With only 45 seconds from closing out this game, they can get a good hold. They have the potential to close it out.
Yep, Toronto in the driver's seat. Insight with a major kill there versus Formal, as it's Envoy who really wipes away the point. But current rotation now at the hands of the Ultra. And now the focus comes for Chicago. How do you want to try to break this? What is the focus for how you begin to do this? And well, the streaks are without a doubt going to help out. See what the artillery can do. Make some noise at least. Explosions aplenty. But nobody from Ultra getting taken down because of them. Envoy trying to make some noise happen, and the backside, but nades being stuck everywhere right on the forehead of young Dylan. Envoy is now less than 30 points away from Toronto, closing out this first hard point.
And OpTic, they need to get in. They cannot allow Ultra to get all this time or the game will be over. But the pinch is going to be set up. Benjamin able to jump from the top, able to get 2. Trying to get the third onto Bance, onto Scump, but he's able to win it 10 seconds away from closing out this map, number 1.
10 more seconds. Can anybody from OpTic get there in time? They at least have to contest Cleanex with some major shots there off of spawn. Dashy can only even see the hard point, and he's lucky to even be able to be there. Cammy takes down 1, and with that, it is an Ultra victory. We talked about coming into this, how important it was for OpTic to continue to walk away with these opening hard points. They've been able to do it a majority of the time. A 3-1 record now goes to 3-2 without a doubt. That one has to sting, Stud.
Definitely does, man. And if you just look at the little things that Toronto Ultra were doing right, they were flipping OpTic on the opposite side of the map at the right time every single time. Like when OpTic were able to get 3 kills towards that P4, we got to go back to what Cammy was able to do. He was sitting all the way in the back of A Street. He finds that 1 kill and then proceeds to go to the hill, wins the second, turns around, picks up the third, and that allowed them to eventually flip that spawn. Cammy had an unbelievable game, 30 and 19. Oh man, he was going off.
Yeah, nearly 5K damage there from the Scotsman as the Ultra are going to wrap up game number 1. And now OpTic are going to be staring down a search and destroy, a mode that they have yet to win so far here at playoffs. We'll see if they can turn it around, or will they go down 0-2 in this elimination game. When we come back after the break, it's time for some Moscow.
I'm legendary. Yeah, you know. Yeah. I'm legendary. You know. Let's go. Out of the dust, a legend is born for the game.
The Call of Duty League is presented by Seany, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Seany Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting seany.com/gaming. Scump, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Legendary. I'm legendary. Yeah, you know. Yeah. I'm legendary. You know.
All right, folks, welcome back to day 2 here at Playoffs. If you're just joining us, we're now getting ready to hop into game number 2 of our current elimination match. It is OpTic Chicago taking on the Toronto Ultra, but let's keep it here in the camp of the Green Wall Stud. I mean, what, man? It's been kind of an up and down playoffs so far here for the Chicago boys. We're taking a look at their numbers in both of their matches. What do you see here versus New York?
Well, obviously, Scump was having himself a day. 1.33 in the hard point, 1.35 in the control. The guy's just a different beast when it comes to the respawns, but you can just see at least the stats from Envoy. 0.8 in the hard point and a 0.69 in the controls. That's what really stands out for me because he's a guy that can really take over games for this team.
Yeah, with it on down and here versus the Mutineers. Oh, how the numbers begin to shift around a little bit. When you're taking a look at hardpoint numbers, you're seeing Dashy go for a 1.37, a 1.38 in the control, but now we focus our attention towards Search and Destroy. The numbers don't really change a whole lot for the King, and as we talked about it, Search and Destroy, this has been his mode all year long. I know we watched a number of different content pieces coming in from OpTic, and he's always talked about, hey, you know what, I really cater myself. I really enjoy my Search and Destroy. I feel like it's a mode that I am the most comfortable with, and what I mean, he's going to be a player that has to be big here versus the Ultra, a great Search and Destroy team versus OpTic throughout this year. And as you mentioned, OpTic 0-3 so far here at Playoffs in this very mode.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy job to get done, man. But if you're OpTic, this is how you get back into this series. If you lose this Search and Destroy, basically you're going to end up in the control that you played these guys 5-6 times straight on, and it goes back and forth between them, but Ultra have a positive record there. So OpTic need to come out and just use their teamwork on this Moscow Search and Destroy, because that's something that they've been lacking throughout all the playoffs. They're sitting at 0-3. When you sit there and you watch them play, especially on a map like Standoff yesterday, they always had a numbers advantage, but as soon as that happens, it was immediately traded, and then they lose the number advantage because someone is over challenging. You cannot have that today. You need to have your teamwork on point.
Yeah, without question, teamwork has to be there. Communication has to be there for OpTic. So many little mistakes now have to be ironed out. As here we go now into the Search and Destroy, just 4 seconds away before we hop into this round. And it will be OpTic starting things here off on the attack.
So on the attack, are going to have 4 players just immediately pushing towards the say bomb. They know that no trophy systems are going to be in play, so the aggressive offense is going to be the answer. But Cammy's going to open up the first blood. It's going to be immediately traded. And just pay attention to where Cleanex is on the map. He's going to be in the outskirts. That gets traded. Both players from OpTic trapped in this corner. 1v1. Envoy versus Bance, and Bance is going to walk away with it. Just such a fast round between both of those teams. Just the trades went a little bit better on the Toronto side.
Yeah, Toronto says you want to play aggressive? Fine, we'll do exactly that. Envoy, best play of the round, but we'll get to kind of watch it from his perspective, the way that that final 1v1 begins to iron out. Takes down Insight, but Bance able to shut him down to go ahead and give Ultra the 1-0 advantage in what kind of a team ace type of situation. If you're Toronto, everybody walking away with the kill. But as we said, OpTic saying, hey, we want to play aggressive. Toronto saying, absolutely, we're happy to do that. Let's go ahead and match that. But here we go. Now take a look at Ultra here and their opening attack. Somewhat of a different strategy. And we know this Toronto team stuff. They like to utilize all 3 lanes in Moscow. And
with FOMO using that flash right there to pick up some information, he's going to realize that a couple players from Ultra are trying to be aggressive in towards the middle of the map. So now you see him and Dashy backing up a little bit because the rotation might come in towards A, but Ultra have full control of middle courturt. What do they decide to do with this bomb? You're having a couple players from OpTic deciding to wrap this back towards A, and this is going to open up that B bomb completely for the Toronto Ultra.
Toronto just so good, as we mentioned, at making noise. Over at A, over at B, and Dashy could play spoiler here. Bomb making its way over toward B, and you see Dashy, the mini-map, so close to Cammy right now, literally just right above each other. You gotta think they've got to be hearing each other at some point. If somebody makes a slide, if somebody makes a little bit of extra movement, something could happen. But the indicator on the screen, Dashy decides to come around and says, oh, that's right, Cammy. He's hiding exactly here. Early first blood going the way of Chicago. Man advantage, now it's time for the retake. 30 seconds left, and Insight already weak. Brought down to 38 HP, hanging out toward the boulevard. Only himself and a trophy to try and hang on with as he'll rejoin his squad mates. The time continues to tick away. Can Envoy play big? He gets dropped. It's a 3 versus 3, now in a 2 versus 3. OpTic have to go for the defuse. Dashy's on it. Dashy's on it. Last player's gonna be Insight, and he gets dropped as well. Not a whole lot of time to work with, but OpTic successful in the retake.
I think it was just great plays from OpTic to make sure they secured that bomb site. Once Ultra gave up this B bomb room, if you trap yourself in this little cubby room by the windows, it's going to be a really difficult round to try to clutch up. But OpTic, they just make sure they have a couple bodies there so they can always get the trade. Scump with a huge 2-piece to close out the round.
And I forget, I saw this on Twitter from somebody. It was about like the amount of multi-kills that somebody has in Search and Destroy, and Scump was like easily at the top of the list, and you could add another one there. Just so great and holding down that trigger. 3-1 start for the King. And so without a doubt have his stamp in that round. Walks away with the hat trick and gives OpTic the 1-1 scoreline as they'll now head back to attack. Scump says, you know what, I'm going to put the bomb on my back, no problem. I'm happy to have the objective. Cleanex and Envoy are going to spot each other. The tissue is aware, but Vance there to watch over him. Great first blood out of Toronto. They clear out A, and they're fully aware that, hey, they're not going to be on this side. They have to be going over at the bottom side of the map, which is in fact the case. Scump landed down.
So now in a 4v3, Toronto have to try to set up this retake. See number 1, and Vance, he's thinking that another flank is going to come in, but still a 4v3. You want to be able to play these trades. Fomo's going to back down. It's actually going to be Dashy from the street side, but pressure starting to come in from the Ultra. From the side door, unfortunately, that nade is not going to pick up a kill. But Insight's able to find one, so now it's going to be a 4v2. And just like the previous round, when you trap yourself in this room, it's not going to be an easy task to get done, but Scump is trying to do his best. Now it's all up to FOMO in a 1v3. He finds one. 17 seconds left. Ultra already on the defuse. They're able to clutch up.
Yeah, we've seen that so often this season, especially on a map like Moscow. Teams just say, hey, you know what? We're going to go on the rotation. We have the man count advantage. We have control over this bomb site. Let's just go and hop on the defuse. OpTic doing everything they can. T2P left in the 2 versus 3, but not able to get it done as Ultra will take the advantage now at 2 rounds to 1. Really players going off so far. Vance 3-1, Insight 3-3. As we'll see what Toronto have cooked up. We've seen A, we've seen B, a good mixture so far at Moscow, but as we said for Ultra, you never really know truly what to expect, and neither does Vance. It's hit with the haymaker. Head clean off there from Dashy.
So that's going to be the first blood. Just great adjustments. Dashy's usually that player that's going to be playing the street, but he gives it up this time to be a little bit more aggressive towards the middle of the map. But Cammy being that island player, is able to watch that flank. He also spots Dashy. He's going to be able to find two. They know the positioning of Scump. Now it's all on Scump, the king, in a 1v3.
We'll see what he can do. 50 seconds. Gonna see Cammy to start. Decides to go for the challenge, and he will take it. Now into the 1 versus 2. Bomb planted at B. And he's not got a ton of time to work with. As we mentioned, the objective is down, so Ultra instantly focused the attention now toward him. Insight spots him already at top PD, picks up the Krig, but it doesn't matter. Ultra grab another.
Just a great round right there from the Ultra. They put a lot of pressure in towards that right side of the map, but Cammy, the island player, makes such a huge play, finds the first one. He knows the positioning of Scump, but then he turns around, gets great timing on Dashy, was able to get the second, and then at that point, 1v3 for Scump all the way across the map. It's going to be really difficult to try to get back into the play. Toronto clutch up.
Yeah, big round there from Ultras. They'll now be in the driver's seat 3-1, and it cannot be understated. As we mentioned, OpTic Chicago 1-6 versus Toronto in Search and Destroy so far throughout this year. And that is with this very lineup that you see on your screen. Since Insight has joined this group, they have been the problem. That has been the issue. And with OpTic already dropping that opening hard point, it only emphasizes more this Search and Destroy. More of a headbutt situation potentially coming into this round. It was Ultra shutting that down previously, since we saw Envoy may in fact have found the lane. It's the first blood for OpTic, with the trades overall favoring them. As now it's all up to the rookie. A 1 versus 3 takes down Formal, and not an easy shot to take, but he will grab it. OpTic do not decide to go for the chow. They wait, they play patient, and they take the rookie down.
Yeah, they trapped him right there. Scump was like, nuh-uh, not a 2v1 today. I'm getting off this bomb. We're going to trap you in towards this back alley and most likely win the round. But just early aggression from OpTic, especially Envoy, opening up with the first, and then Scump following up right behind him with that trade. Just great round with the aggression to close it out for OpTic. Now 3-2.
That's what you want to see out of this SMG duo. As we mentioned, especially in a mode like Search and Destroy, we talked about how great Envoy was, especially last year for this team. Those two really start to go off, and who knows what could happen. As we mentioned, kind of odd to see the Search and Destroy struggles as of late for this OpTic team, but there is no question the ability that exists there. But Toronto on the other end is so solid across all modes. Hardpoint been the problem, but currently in the lead right now. And much like we've seen previously, taking control over that middle lane and just really hunting for information stud.
And they got it. They got it right there because they were able to spot Foreman towards top window and Dashy as he was trying to cross back towards that A side. So they're immediately wrapping this towards B. It's got to be another free bomb plan. Hopefully they do not give up bomb site this time around. You need to have a couple players in here because it's going to be an easy retake for OpTic.
Formal laying down a few shots toward the boulevard early, getting a few extra tags. They're into Insight as Dashy looks for the chow. Cleanex does take down Scump. So now into the 3 versus 3, 30 seconds left. Dashy and Envoy set up for the crossfire, but the Ultra, they're not even inside of the room right now. OpTic clear it out, but it's the outskirts, in fact, where they are challenging from. Another 1-for-1. Now into the 2 versus 2. Only mere seconds to go forward with, and both of them picking up kills on cue. The Young Guns going big, putting in the defuse, and now bringing us to 3 rounds apiece.
That was a great play from Ultra, but just those 2 one-on-one engagements going in favor of Dashy and Envoy. If one of them loses that, then Ultra are able to walk away with the round. They both clutch up towards the very end, winning huge one-on-ones, especially Envoy. This is a great play. Remember, he gets his kill towards side door. He knows that inside is back window, completely wraps the entire side, and just finds this kill with ease, man. Great work from OpTic. Just not rush it and eventually take their time to close it out.
Yeah, the main fact wears headset backwards, but hey,
it's all good.
Aware of where everybody happens to be, so you'll take it where you can get it. Whatever works, indeed. But 5-5 now for Envoy, and speaking of even numbers, we're all tied at 3-3. So far in this Moscow, it's been all about the trades, all about those late game heroics, bomb getting down multiple times up to this point, but we got at least 3 to 4 bomb plants through our very first 6 rounds. And Insight tagged up again. Dashy for the first blood.
And that's huge, man, because now OpTic have the man advantage. You see what number 8 is doing, which is going to be Formal. He's that island player backing these players up from that A site. So OpTic, they have the opportunity to just cut this straight up the middle of the map and solo out this player at A, but they're just taking their time. They're going to commit towards this B bomb, so it's all going to be on Cammy. He's in a pretty comfortable corner here, but if a couple players from OpTic jump at him, it's going to be hard to pop this 2-piece.
It's not going to be easy. Go for the trade. Cammy hanging out toward the carpets. He actually finds the first and also manages to back it up. Goes for the challenge. Cammy having a round to remember as that'll be 3. Can he find the ace? Oh, Dashy there to take him down, but 25 seconds left. Cammy making things so difficult. And Toronto there to shut Bruce down toward the boulevard. We'll have to watch that one again. An excellent round for Cammy, given the fact that literally 2 players are there, 2 players ready to challenge him, but he manages to walk away with both, Stud.
I think it was just Cammy's play in his head, man, to not sit this corner, because he knows if 2 OpTic players fired him, he's only able to get 1. He takes the challenge on himself. He wins the first gunfight, backs Envoy down with the nade, and then just lays down, catching him off guard, man. Eventually turns around the street and gets the 3rd. What a tremendous solo play out of Cammy to secure the round for Ultra.
Yeah, it's no question this guy was obviously in that MVP, or rather it was an MVP candidate in that conversation. A lot of people on social media talk about how, hey, you know what, Cammy should be probably top 2, top 3 in that debate, but an excellent round for him. The Cammy man can in fact do it. But the objective, once more in the hands of Bance, continuing to make some noise through the middle side of the map. Nobody from OpTic there. 3/4 of the roster happening to be toward the backside of A, but once again, it is this Ultra team making some noise at A and utilizing that mid-map. Dashy going to be the only one here to read this play potentially. But if you're OpTic, you're thinking, hey, it's a little bit quiet, maybe a little bit too quiet.
It's going to be a free B bomb plant. Ultra just doing such a great job of just causing so much noise at the opposite bomb. They're able to get this B bomb down not once, not twice, but 3 times for free. So now in a 4-4 retake is going to be OpTic. Formal trying to spot any players from the street side, but just pay attention to the mini-map. Look at where Inside is coming from. He's pushing through that A-bomb. He's going to be able to come up behind a couple players. Cammy's able to find one, but it's only a matter of time before Inside is able to get into this play. 3v2 now, as CleanX finds Envoy, Inside finds Scump. It's all on Dashy in the 1v3.
And Bruce getting picked apart again. And as we said, so it's just this team. I mean, it's no surprise. It's mind games. It's this Toronto Ultra team getting mid-map and just allowing for themselves to have some flexibility, right? It's challenging over at A, challenging over at B, getting information, and they're putting themselves in the ability to make the decisions.
Yeah, man, OpTic are just giving up mid-map control. It's making it way too easy for Ultra to rotate this bomb wherever they want. As long as they pick up some kind of information of where they think a majority of the OpTic players are playing, like when they rushed right up, eSky's right there, saw at least 2 or 3, they immediately, no hesitation, go straight to that B bomb, and it's just been easy for them. Straight mind games.
Absolutely, and now from this point forward, OpTic gonna have to win 3 straight rounds. Ultra looking great so far in this search and destroy, as they have versus this very team all season long, as they have in the CDL all season long. But what can be done? Bance left to have to reference on back. CleanX, now the farthest pushed up player toward outskirts here at Bricks. Formal, clear there with the information, but how about Cammy? Goes to the flank and once more utilizing the middle side of the map. There goes Dashy, challenging without his teammates.
Yeah, don't really accept it. So now it's all left up to Scump in a 1v4. He's able to find one, but now with 45 seconds left, it's all on him.
All the pressure now on toward the King. Are they going to go down over to 2? Or will we at least have another round? This is not going to be an easy time. Granted, it has the bomb, but that's really the only positive. I think one player spotted him. Insight gives the call out, and the Ultra are there to lock it up. Search and destroy, clean from beginning to end. And as we said, Stud, the flexibility, the decision-making on point once more from Toronto.
It was literally the mind games, man. Like OpTic, they were just giving up mid-map control way too much, and Ultra just kept on capitalizing on it. We saw in the beginning, the early aggression came in, but once Toronto were able to settle into the map, it's all coming down to those mid-map adjustments, and they just went away with it to close out this map number 2. Now put them in a commanding series lead at 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, did you see more of the same, the little mistakes coming through from OpTic?
I feel like OpTic just left way too many openings in their setups. Yeah, you have Formal who's camping all the way top bank, so all he can do is watch if they push up towards the middle plat, but that's not what happened, man, and unfortunately, it cost them the map.
Search and destroy woes only continue. One map on the brink of being 3-0'd. Will OpTic wake up, or will Ultra continue on with the 3-0 sweep? We will find out as it's raid control up after this.
I'm legendary. You know. Let's go. Out of the dust.
Mountain Dew Game Fuel is the official beverage of the CDL. Buy now at gamefuel.com/CDL.
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in on Championship Sunday for the chance to receive Vanguard beta codes and a sneak peek at Vanguard multiplayer. As you said, so excited for the new title, and really, if you're OpTic, you're one map away from that having to be your focus now looking forward, but they want to stay in this current mindset. They are going to be in the midst of trying to make the reverse sweep as they've got to play perfect from this point on. But what a series it's been up to this point. So that, as we mentioned, that early hard point, how important that it was. OpTic drop it, and from there, the story has pretty much remained the same for what we've seen between these two matchups throughout the year.
Yeah, that initial hard point was basically everything because OpTic, they've had that ability to really step up and take that map #1, but just look at the stats that Kemi has put on. Sitting at a 1.44 on the series, the guy is going off. He was an MVP candidate for a reason, and he's showing out, and he's showing why.
Yeah, absolutely, Kemi, one of the many players that you look out for when we talk about the entirety of the CDL, but a guy who can just take over in maps, and so far he has had an excellent series. But we talk about players from the Ultra. Now we'll talk about some players from the OpTic Chicago side, and what's, I think specifically, we're looking at somebody like Dashy, the numbers that he's able to put up, the ability that he has to take over maps. And so far here at Championship Weekend, so far here at Playoffs, he has been so good. Obviously, these are his numbers so far throughout the season, and those cannot be understated. But you got a few, in the top 3 categories, Search and Destroy, just barely behind. But so far here at Playoffs, he has a 1.4 KD in Control.
That's unreal. That's unreal, man. 1.4 out of Dash. He's going to need to have that right now because this is a winner-go-home situation. If you're OpTic, backs against the wall, this is where you need to have your best Call of Duty. This is where you need to present what you're all about and just really show that you can fight through anything. We saw Minnesota do it at the Major. Down 0-4, anything's possible at this point. They just had to have the right mindset.
Yeah, they absolutely do. We've talked about the blueprint, we've talked about the formula, what it's going to take from this OpTic team. But again, with losing that early respawn, with losing that early hard point rather, this is where it gets to some more unfamiliar territory. Now, has Control been a bad mode for OpTic all year long? Of course not. But they played Raid versus Ultra every single time. And what's that? It's a 1-3 record in this very map and both throughout the season.
Yeah, it's not good, man. Ultra have their number on this map. And obviously, when you think about the vetoes, Toronto's auto veto is going to be checkmate. You don't want to play OpTic on that map. And on the opposite side, Garrison for OpTic doesn't want to play Toronto
like
on
once,
that.
Yeah,
exactly. So they're going to just go head-to-head on Raid every single time. This is going to be like the 6th time that they play this one. So OpTic, they know what they like to do. They just have to perform well to keep their series alive.
Yeah, and that's the thing, obviously, for OpTic. It's a do-or-die type of situation. And I guess from the Toronto side, I mean, you really want to get it done here, right?
Yeah.
You do not want to allow for hope. You don't want to allow for any little bit of spark of momentum to get toward the OpTic side and to really get involved with this crowd as well, because when they start to erupt, that's when things can start to turn around, as they are going to need some magic. They're going to need some fans to get hyped, because this very well could be their final map of the year. Raid Control. Do we end it here, or could this be the beginnings of something special?
Green Wall, I promise, OpTic needs you now more than ever. You gotta get loud. They need a battery in their back. You gotta spark it. Let's go, Green Wall. You gotta get loud, fellas.
See if OpTic can reply, or if this Ultra team can put them away in 3. As what Golden Boy mentioned earlier, they have been the boogeyman all season long. But here we go into Raid Control, map number 3 of this series. Will it be the final one? OpTic starting things off on the attacking side and instantly focusing their attention toward the ring. 2 players go down off the start. Not feeling the greatest, but there we have it. Formal, right on cue, answers with 2 of his own.
It's a good response. That's going to be 3 dead, so now the opportunity for A starts to open up for OpTic. We just have to pay attention to that mini-map. Kemi, the playmaker for the Toronto Ultra side. He went all the way through that B Street, and slowly but surely, he's approaching towards this 8-point. The pinch is going to come in, but it doesn't matter. That's going to be 3, make it 4 dead. OpTic find every single kill. The second segment is about to get complete. Time is about to get extended by the minute.
All right, Dashy just trying to slide off the ledge. How about that? We do lose Scump and Envoy in sequence, but still, it is Dashy locking things down, holding down that A objective point. Only lost 5 players really in that early exchange. As Dashy continues to light it up, that's now going to be 5 in a row for him. And he'll look to also try to lead on for this rotation. That's going to be a few down. Blood in the water starting to be felt, but once Envoy drops and the SMG duo line starts to fall, OpTic then have to reference back and begin to collect themselves, but Dashy keeping in mind on that 6 spree.
These streaks are huge, man. You have to try to pick these up if you're Dashy because they are such game changers, but unfortunately, he's gonna lose that gunfight to CleanX. But still, OpTic already have a 6 live advantage in this control. That's gonna be another 2 dead. Still not being able to get on that point though, because 3 players are coming off spawn.
How tricky has Envoy been in situations like this? Putting his feet up, grabbing a drink inside of the Tiki is inside, trying to make some noise happen to the middle side of the map. He gets cut down and an accidental team kill. Cammy sticking Bance right in the back of the head, but CleanX responds on cue. How about the play from the Tissue? What seemed to be a horrible spot for Toronto, he saves them again.
That's going to be 3 dead. Formal's going to drop, so now you see a couple players from Ultra starting to get a little bit more aggressive. There's a minute on the clock, so OpTic still have a lot of time to work, but that's going to be 2 dead in the feed. They have to try to eliminate CleanX from this water steps area, but immediately, as soon as OpTic answers the 2, Toronto respond with 2 of their own. Time is still starting to wind down with 45 seconds left. Ultra only have 1 life before the respawns are no longer.
Just cannot get over that crazy play from CleanX. What seemed to be such a great moment from OpTic to finally get a little bit of time over at that B objective point. As we said, they start to smell blood in the water, but that is all over now. All of that progress having to be started over. Back to the drawing board they go, but keeping in mind, Ultra, as you see at the top, no more respawns, but we'll see what OpTic can do with that. 20 seconds left, and this opening trade, or rather this opening engagement is gonna be huge, and Envoy able to take it versus Cammy. So now into the 8 versus 2. Formal dropping CleanX, Vance able to reply back as he and Insight combine for 2. Keep in mind, OpTic, they have got to hold on to this objective. They cannot afford to get off B for long. As Dashy drops, it's now all on to Insight. All on to the rookie, a 1v5. And with OpTic beginning to stack on up, it gets much more difficult. Formal takes him down. A back and forth round. But OpTic are able to take it on attack.
That was such a huge round for OpTic, especially on the offense. It all started with Dashy popping off with that 5-3 right off the rip. They secured A and were able to extend that time to an extra minute. But just take a look at this play from CleanX. He's able to find one, snaps onto Dashy for the second. I thought he was losing that one, but then it even gets even more nasty because the guy just goes straight down middle water steps, turns around and just burns onto Envoy. Unbelievable plays out of CleanX.
Yeah, great plays from CleanX, and but we kind of talked about it. I mean, it's really based off of that early life advantage over toward that A objective point over at Ring. OpTic only lost 5 players to Ultras. I think it was like 8 or 9. You cannot ask for a better attacking spot from there, but CleanX off of that highlight play looks to try to make the early flank opportunity toward backside Laundry. So points going to be cleared out. Really both duos from both Toronto and OpTic doing their job. An even split all the way through as 1 tick already in at A. Cam and Insight combined for 1 inside of middle. Another nice 1v1 taken there from Cammy, and that A objective point continues to roll as the ARs feeling good in round 2 from Toronto.
It's just great pressure right now from the Ultra. They're slowing down their game, making sure that they're picking up these kills, not letting anyone slip by, but Insight picking up that one. Scump with the trade. A point is about to be captured for the Ultra. They have a forward live advantage, and they have bedroom control. So if you're OpTic, you just have to find a couple kills, but Formal, he's gonna drop. Still bedroom control going in favor of Toronto. And with them picking up those 2 kills, they have the ability now to push out.
They do indeed. Envoy and Dashy finding 2. CleanX still just being a thorn in the side as Cammy takes one down toward that side water. So with that, Toronto, their first look at this B capture point. And Cammy's not just happy with the objective, he wants to try to force the issue. He and Vance really just kind of see the connection starting to be earned as Vance on the flank does get one. Wanted to get the double kill, but Scump there to thwart any progress that he could. And Cammy basically looking like a fish out of water. No real teammate support as the farthest pushed up player was not in a great angle to try and challenge, but still 1:30 on the clock. No ticks yet for Ultra.
Just pay attention to what Vance is doing once again. Unfortunately, he's going to get red, so that's going to be another 2 dead. OpTic are still holding on the defense. Insight going to be sitting in towards Tiki. Cammy right behind him towards water steps. He's able to find one. You got to back down. You do not want to drop if you're Scump. But so far, Toronto doing a great job of just taking control of Kitchen, and they're going to have 3 bodies on the point. It's going to go super quick now. First segment already complete.
And watch that progress begin to roll. Somebody has to try to make it on in. You're going to see Scump try to go for the slide, but he doesn't get the opportunity to. Ultra get their chance, and as we mentioned, you can kind of notice it. Like certain players, they'd start ADSing, and you'd see other guys on the other side. Ultra making connections and really starting to get a good idea of where the map sits at the moment, and it was just a matter of time. Really, the early, the A capture point has kind of been dominated from both teams on attack.
Yeah, just right off the initial, man. When you catch it, we capture that A point nice and early and extend that time by a minute, you're only down by like 1 or 2 lives with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to work with. It's only one good push that's going to rely on for them to eventually close out that round. And Ultra, once they took control of Kitchen, because OpTic, I felt like they were just playing their defense in their base. You want to get pushed up more farther to their side, get control of bedroom, get control of middle zig, so the game's a little bit easier for you, but it doesn't happen. Ultra walk away with the round, but back on the offense we go for OpTic, once again going towards that A point.
Yeah, a lot of times you say, okay, cool, defense, we got that up next, but so far it has been 2 straight offensive victories, and that dominance only continues to roll. Ultra, only 3 total engagements, now make that 4 have gone down. Like we said, it's just really been A being totally dominated from either side, so 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Now for OpTic Chicago, it is a battle back and forth. Who can be more dominant off the rip, trading blow for blow. And a 1v1 that's going to last a decent amount of time. Ultra trying to get up in that mansion position just to make OpTic's lives that much more difficult. But Cammy, he gets found out. Scump toward the middle side of the map, somewhat aware of where Bance happens to be positioned. So with that, OpTic looking to just really get out of their base, get some map control, and work on improving a little bit of that real estate, but with Scump dropping there, it makes issues that much more greater.
Yeah, but if you're OpTic right now, you have better control. It's all about fighting through this middle of the map, though. Dashy's winning huge one-on-ones across the map from bedroom, and that's going to be 3 dead. It's all going to be on Insight. This is going to open up OpTic to try to push up through water side, but Insight's going to find that player in towards middle map. Currently on a 5-3, trying to work towards some streaks. PaulEhx is going to help him. That's going to be 6, looking for the 7th. Unfortunately, he's going to drop there, not able to pick up some streaks, but Ultra, they hold on, and then once again, take control of bedroom.
Great play from Insight. As we said, just the door seems to be open for a moment, and Ultra swing it right closed. Insight going on the spree, and now it's PaulEhx's turn, sitting at 4, make it 5. Does get cut down, but as we like to say, presence without a doubt felt. But take a look at player 7, Envoy has made his way around. The problem being is that his teammates cannot even get out of spawn. The pressure from Ultra, so difficult. But what can Envoy do in this position? Bance, Ultra continuing to cause problems. You see the life disadvantage, and with Envoy being in this spot, again, he's just waiting for somebody to come off of spawn, waiting for somebody to be in a position to join him, but he has yet to have that. 25 seconds left, and OpTic, no more respawns left. Envoy makes his position known, and that play that had been waiting for so long to develop never gets the opportunity to commence, as Toronto too dominant inside of the base as they'll claim this round and go up 2 rounds to 1.
That was Bance is actually still in that 5-3. I thought he was going to be able to drop there, but Ultra, they just did such a great job on the defense. When the engagement's going down towards the middle of the map, they were trading back and forth, but one thing that they did when they got a clean 4 dead was always keep bedroom. Once you keep bedroom control, it just spawns all of OpTic towards the right side of the map. They have to overextend. You have to go through Zig, or you have to push through Raid. And unfortunately, Cammy's just eating them alive, spawn killing them in their base. It wasn't easy for OpTic to try to get out, and it was just too easy on the defense right there for the Ultra.
All right, Stud. I mean, how do you do this, right? I mean, you're looking at the scoreboard right now. If comms have never been ladder, if no one has ever stepped up as the in-game leader, now is the time to do it. You sit on the other side, you're looking at series point right now from Toronto. You get Bance 1 kill away from streaks. Insight already has some. What needs to be said, what needs to be done right now from Chicago, given the situation they find themselves in?
You gotta put it all on the table. You gotta leave your hearts on the, you gotta wear your heart on your sleeve and just play like it's your last day on Earth, man. And that's a good way to start with 3 dead, because it's a winner-go-home situation, man. As long as you can take control of bedroom on their defense. We've seen it on so far 2 defensive rounds, but that's gonna be another 2 dead. OpTic right now, they're holding, and so far, Ultra, they haven't even been able to touch that A point.
Yet to grab it. As we mentioned, attack has been the story so far. And right now, Toronto being silenced, but as we said, those streaks could be huge. Bance earns them, or at least decides to ping it, so goes for the information, and that's something OpTic's gonna have to deal with, whether this round is the last one or even into the round 5. Streaks at the hands of Toronto, that's gonna help them clear out that A point. As Bance getting comfortable right in front of OpTic's faces, they finally cut him down. And for a moment, Ultra getting a second to breathe. It's not just Bance, but now it's Clayster again. Some great control from him. Overall trades, the SMGs from Toronto trying to make OpTic uncomfortable. And really, this is what started it off. We talked about Dashy potentially earning streaks, now sits on 5 in a row. How great this could be coming into a round 5 if we even have the ability to get there. Potentially one more push left from the Ultra boys.
He needs to get this. He needs to get these streaks. They can change the game. This is how you can get your teammates back into this with the utmost confidence. And with Formal shooting the way that he is, that's going to be a 3 spree. He shuts down both players from the Ultra on that 8 point, make it a 3rd. Formal working on some streaks of his own, and OpTic, they are on fire. Formal is starting to warm up. That's going to be a 5 spree. Only 2 kills away from picking up some streaks, and that should be the round of OpTic.
A 14-team streak to lock up the round where we said could be their last, but they're at least giving us a round 5. And like we said, so they very well can have some streaks, not just on 1 player, but 2 players. Dashy sits on 6, Formal sits on 5. It's going to be an explosive battle, most likely, in this final round. Fireworks.
It definitely is, but for the Chicago, they are 12-6 in these round 5s. So they got a little ice to them. And especially if Dashy and Formal can pick up these streaks, they're so impactful, especially on the defensive side. You know how strong that can be. Toronto on the offense, you got to keep in mind that Bance has that artillery to work with, but he's not going to have any information because he already used that ping.
Here we go, into the round 5. Is this the 3-0, or is it the start of something special? Into the attack for the Ultra, as they've already made some great progress today. They've set up shop, and they've set it up quite well. But you still got the 2 players alive who were hoping to get those streaks. So Dashy and Formal still alive, and they've got to be careful with their lives. Dashy gets cut down, and that is a massive kill to take. Meanwhile, Ultra do grab that A objective. Clayster does get taken down, so a nice 3 wipe. And with that, Formal now sitting on 6 in a row. He realizes now is his time to challenge, but he gets brought down to 50 HP. They know exactly where he is, and he can't win it either. 2 players that could have got streaks, 1 kill away for both of them. And now 2 minutes to work with if you're Toronto.
But what OpTic are doing so well is just keeping this bedroom control. The duo of Envoy and Dashy right now keeping this pressure towards this bedroom side. You have a couple players from Ultra playing a little bit slower, but Insight's able to spot him. Huge one-on-one engagement from Insight. And just keep in mind, he has the artillery and the cruise missile. And also, Bance has an artillery as well, so it's only a matter of time before all these streaks start getting rained down.
As we said, it's going to be fireworks, it's going to be explosives. How long can OpTic hold on? And as we said, these early waves, it's important. But when are these streaks going to come into play? That's something that OpTic are going to have to be prepared for. So here comes the first, the cruise missile out of Toronto, and it cannot come in a better time. Clayster takes down 2. The streak at least gets a little bit of information, but the stack starting to come in from Toronto. They've got 3 players on this point, but Insight, the 1 player, trying to watch out for all of them, does in fact get taken down, but here now comes the artillery. 1 streak down, now here comes the 2nd. And they're gonna survive that 1-2 stud. Playing well off the start, and it's a trade back and forth, but a major fight for Formal to take. Bance does escape toward the back of the base, so that is something to keep in mind. Shuts down Envoy, but OpTic are doing the work toward the front side of Mansion.
You just got to keep in mind it's only a matter of time because Insight still has that artillery to work with. 16 and 16s in the life department, but right now, Cammy, he has control of Kitchen, and Formal's going to win a huge one-on-one from that basketball. So now it's all about on OpTic holding. OpTic are holding right now, but still, Kitchen control in favor of Toronto. This is a huge one-on-one, and Scump is able to win it versus Bance. Scump is able to find 2, and that's going to be 3 dead. 25 seconds left. Ultra, they have to pop this streak. They only have 1 good push left.
1 artillery remains. 1 more push here from Toronto. Is this where we call it curtains? They're going to need a stack. It's a trade to start into the 3 versus 3. The 3rd streak is in, but it's a team kill. Insight takes down Clayster, and Scump is going to be able to find 1 himself. Still 8 seconds left. Insight goes for a swim, hanging out toward the backside of Tiki.
Gotta get on it.
3 more seconds. Somebody from Toronto has to get on here to stop the clock. Panic starts to set in. Panic starts to set in. Could it be the hold of a lifetime? And it will be. Not just one, not just two, but OpTic hold off 3 streaks in this round 5 and keep themselves alive here at playoffs.
I just can't believe it, man. I can't believe it, especially with the way that the round started. Formal was on a 5 spree. Dashy was on a 6 spree. Those guys pick up streaks early into that round. They were able to close it out with ease. But at that point, when both of them dropped, Toronto has 3 streaks to work with. But OpTic, they do such a great job at just making sure that they're getting these kills at the right time. And in this final moment right here, it's all on this streak usage. Once Insight drops his 3rd missile onto Cleanex, he was trying to get that position in towards basketball. But once he drops, the double challenge comes in. Ultra are dropping like 5. Trades going back and forth, and with only 5 seconds left, you only have 2 players in a position to try to hop on this point. Just not enough as OpTic stay alive.
One of the best single round holds that we've seen all year long to avoid 3 different streaks from Toronto. And like you said, man, we had Dashy, we had Formal both sitting on 6, and not either of them were able to get them unbelievable stuff. And now what does that do, you think, for OpTic's confidence? As we said, that is a huge round for them to take, an incredibly long control game, but how does that change things up quick?
It's got to be amazing, man, because you're still alive in this series. You forced another map. It's all about bringing it for that next one.
The lifeline is there. OpTic able to bring it back here in the control, and we're going to be staying on raid for game number 4. Make sure to stay with us. It's only going to get more intense from here.
Let's go. Out of the dust, a legend is born.
There is a status reserved for a select few throughout history. For those remembered for more than just a name, it's a title even kings die in vain for.
Out of the dust, a legend is born. Born for the game, born for the throne.
Time gives us all one simple choice. You can be forgotten or become immortal.
You think he's done now? You think he's gonna stop here? You think you can stop aBeZy? Oh my God!
Let's go.
To be remembered is not enough, because anything less than legendary is failure.
Accuracy, though, they line up! They line up for accuracy and he wins it! Are you kidding? Accuracy with thighs!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Call of Duty League playoffs. How crazy was that round? How crazy was that? we make some noise? That was pretty nuts, right?
What a great all that.
There it is.
There we go. Had to wake him up a little bit. You know, there's, honestly, all of us are just trying to wake up after how I mean, that put us all on our butts after how nuts of a round that was in that round number 5 on Control. OpTic just narrowly managed to stay alive instead. They managed to win the round despite Ultra having 3 different streaks.
It was insane, man. I can't believe they got that done, but it was just the pressure that they put on Veteran Control. That's something that they weren't doing in the 2 previous defensive rounds. They were just playing back towards Tiki, towards Kitchen, just playing real safe. But when they were aggressive towards Veteran, they were keeping that map control, and that's why they were able to shut down those streaks and eventually close out the map.
Oh boy, and now what we're gonna stay on Raid from Control now to Hardpoint. I know we watched these two face off a little bit in Raid Hardpoint previously, but I guess off of that Control run, I mean, does your opinion of OpTic change? Again, it's a round 5. You have to consider everything that we've witnessed. Obviously, momentum has got to be in their camp for the time, but it cannot be understated that checkmate was well controlled from Ultra.
It definitely was, man, but you could just tell OpTic, they woke up, man. They were shooting different. Like, you had Dashy going on 5 sprees left and right, Formal with 6K damage right next to Dashy. Like, they were turning up right there. So they're going to need both of those AR players to really step up on a map like Raid because rotations are such a big part.
And without a doubt are one of the best maps in Call of Duty history. Having another one be played on its very ground. We'll take a look through the eyes of OpTic to start over at P1 Ultra with preferred spawns to start things off, as they will have kitchen control looking toward the future. But again, you just think, gotta dig deep, knowing that your life is on the line and what could be ahead of you. That's a great clearance just then out of OpTic. Dashy specifically getting 3 kills to start off those opening engagements. The ARs are frying to start. It's Formal from afar. It's Dashy up close. Toronto making a decent impact here to try to bring itself back on in as Clayster gets found out on the flank, but at the very least, his presence does free up Ultra for the remainder of those seconds. With 20 left over at P1, it's Scump and the boys for OpTic. They've decided to rotate through over at Kitchen, but it's flank after flank, both teams being aware of the positioning.
Yeah, there was a lot of spawns happening towards that backside of Laundry, but eventually Ultra were able to secure it, so now they're going to be able to set up for this P2 hardpoint. And this is a hardpoint that OpTic have been struggling with quite some time, this P2, on how they want to break it. But early aggression coming in from Raid. Now it's all about pushing out the backside and making sure you're winning these engagements, because if they shut down this push right here, you have to try to flood through the front. You have to do this before their trophy system come into play.
Oh, and that's a big 2-piece coming in from Cammy, and now Formal left between a rock and a hard place. Does take down Bance at the very least, but just because of that Cammy kill, the double that he's able to find just instantly throws off OpTic's chances. If that's not gonna be 3, that's gonna be 4. Cammy doing the work toward the backside of jungle, and with that, the front is gonna be handled as well. Perfect plays out of Cammy. I don't wanna say single-handedly shuts down the play from OpTic, but boy, was he influential in that.
He definitely was, man, just re-flanking those players that were trying to pinch her on the backside. It was a huge 2-piece, and then he proceeds to go through the middle of the hill. And Ultra, they hold this for a full 60, so now off the rotation, you see the pressure's already here. Just pay attention to the mini-map, though, because Insight's already at outskirts. Dash is going to have a huge one-on-one. Formal's trying to help him, but the pinch is going to be here. And Ultra off the rotation. That was beautiful.
And how often have we talked about P2 to P3? At times, this OpTic roster in these money hills can really start to struggle. Kitchen has not been their best friend, and Garage really not a good counterpart either. A wonderful rotation set up here from the Ultra, getting ever closer toward that century mark, but through Jim we go, and it's Bance being able to handle a decent amount of weight as Clayster is there for the trade. Excellent play so far from Ultra as they began this hard point with a wonderful showing, and if only continued to. Clayster, that's now going to be a 3-in-a-row streak for him. OpTic realizing, saying, hey, you know what, P2 didn't work out. Now P3 does not work out, but the best money hill is still ahead of us, and OpTic are going to need just about every single second of it.
You've got to stop the bleeding. You have to get a good rotation, and that's a good way to start. As they find 2 in the feed, going to have Ultra still getting some good junk time off of that garage hill. And that'll put them at about up 100 points already, but you know how great this basketball hill can be to get right back into this game. They have full kitchen control, 1 player on the hill, but the pressure's going to be here. Bance opens up with the first. Now the pressure's starting to come through the back, and that's going to be 2 dead. There's only going to be 1 player from OpTic on this point. Formal's trying to go big. He's able to find 2, and Envoy finds the 3rd. Last player from Ultra sitting in the back, but all of Ultra spawning out towards the top now.
And you saw a few players start to line up inside. Accidentally takes down Cammy, so it's a 1 versus 2 trade favoring OpTic in that situation. With 30 seconds left, Formal has been happy to accrue every single second that they can. Big engagement for him, is at least able to get the 1-for-1. Insight now hopping inside of the hill. Again, a major hill for OpTic right now here in basketball as Cammy also getting dealt with. Like we said, P2, P3, not the greatest of performances, but basketball is where OpTic are gonna have, like we said, that was gonna be their opportunity to bring it back, and they've done it up to this point. Few extra shots there from Envoy as he ends up getting taken down. Now our last hill of the first side of rotations. Toronto are here. Let's step aside and go to a listen now with Ultra.
One blue weak, right side.
I have all the pillars. They're gonna be kitchen, okay?
Big fucking hell.
Wait, Cam, I'm pushing that side now.
Okay, kitchen really dead.
Nice. I'm coming back, so we got 2 players.
Black man.
When they spawn, I'm pushing out. I'm pushing out now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hit into new.
He's in the left
Could
side.
be war, there could be war.
Yeah, no.
I can watch. Where we go, Ben?
In kitchen. One shot dead.
Nice.
One more kitchen. Whole kitchen. Weak.
Pillars as well.
Go, Nick, go.
Pillars in you
Go,
guys.
you go, Ben. You go. Weak, Formal.
Pillars, he's flanked Zig. One blue weak, we're made to our.
In our.
Scump.
What you got for me?
We got 2. I got you war. You go. Nothing more.
One more,
They're gonna be
one more.
kitchen. I'm going right.
They're in new.
All the way around, okay?
Right second.
One shot, man. Formal, absolute. He's in new. No, well played.
Listen, I'm going all the way around jungle, okay?
Wait, I'm gonna do it. Listen, I'm doing such a deep pinch.
You going R? Okay, I'm jungle then.
What's in the kitchen? Scump, left side.
Take our time, man.
In money.
When else? No, Dashy in the back.
Take our time, man.
Check out room.
Yeah. It's fine.
One kitchen.
It's close right kitchen. Ready, I'm sliding.
We're gonna be to our left, yeah. I'm watching your kitchen.
Nice.
Kitchen. Scump kitchen. Really weak Scump kitchen. Well, as the first set of rotations come to a close, it was a 100-point advantage for Toronto. Instead, the comms sound pretty good at Ultra.
Yeah, they're calm, cool, and collected, man. You hear Bancy say, I'm going for the super mega route to make sure I'm trying to set up this pinch, but OpTic, they're not worried. That's going to be another 3 dead. You have one player in Insight who's trying to hold this back laundry area, but unfortunately, he's going to drop, and now OpTic, this can be the turnaround of the game. If they can chain this P1 to that P2, because so far, based off the first rotation, that's going to be another 3 dead. OpTic trying to bounce back into this one, down only 50 points now.
OpTic, welcome to Raid Hardpoint. They brought themselves back in the game after being down 100 points, and now this next hill could very well bring us even. Formal getting dropped, but again, it's everybody having each other's clearance. Dashy once more put on the 5 spree, getting cut down. How many times has Dashy been put in those spots to earn streaks and just happens to be 1 kill away? But at least for OpTic, you still have that spawn in your favor. A few start to line up. Dashy drops off the streak, but right off of spawn, having another big kill, taking down Cammy. Final player in the backside here is going to be Insight to deal with.
And this has been a great hold so far with 35 seconds. OpTic have the ability to try to take the lead here, but that's going to be 2 in the feed going in favor of Ultra. OpTic respond back with 2 of their own. Cammy with a huge one-on-one as well, and Ultra starting to spawn out towards the back. There's a good 20 seconds, but you see what OpTic are trying to do. They're trying to set up for that garage hill this time around. You got a good chunk of time here. They're not trying to give it all to Ultra. That's going to be 3 down, Scump on a 5.
And look at the spawn. Look at the spawn. Ultra do spawn toward backside P2. So if you're OpTic, you're happy to give away those seconds because now it's the race toward garage, and you've placed yourself here. Wonderful awareness and really just in general, great timing here for Chicago. Pretty much a total reversal from the first set of rotations that we saw with P2, P3 handled from Toronto. This time, it's OpTic at least starting off things well with Scump finding himself on the 6. Can he find the streak? And he will! A massive streak to have, at least in your back pocket if you're OpTic, as you have brought this one back down from 100, and now Stud, they're 10 seconds away from grabbing the lead.
And the king has just been going off. Envoy finds 2 in the feed, but if Dashy finds that kill onto Inside, there's going to be 25 seconds remaining. OpTic are going to take the lead. Finally, for the first time on this hard point, you got to keep in mind that Scump has that streak to work with. He can break in towards this basketball hill with this artillery. The green wall starting to get behind. They can feel it. They possibly will force the game 5.
You start to feel it in the air. This OpTic team starting to get the momentum behind them. But a major hill up next. But Scump, having that streak, decides to call it in early, and we'll see what this can do. Finding a kill off of it on the Cleanex, and also finding a second one onto Bance. That's a 9 streak now for the King. Can he make it double digits on Bance? This is a massive fight to take toward the backside as his teammates are relying on him to go big, and he's able to do it. That's going to be 10 for Scump. Putting the pistol away and allowing for the 74U to go to work. Aware of the spawns, Toronto still winning the fights toward the front side of water. So this is great from Scump, finally gets cut down. Ultra have done the job that they need toward the front side.
But everything that Scump just got done, his teammates could not get to the point, so the cruise missile has to get invested. He's able to find one. Formal with the second. That's going to be 3 dead. 15 seconds remaining here. Ultra can no longer win it. They have to think about the rotation, though. 236, 222. OpTic, if they get this 8 seconds, it'll be 230 to 236. They have to think about the rotation. Dashy going big with a huge one-on-one versus Cammy.
We've got ourselves a 6-point game. Over toward P5 we go, and Bance, CleanX, Ultra with the early trades. They only need 10 more seconds. Somebody from OpTic have to get here off of spawn. Scump, he dies inside of Art. Envoy also falls. Everybody beginning to drop, and there goes Dashy as well. Can anybody from OpTic get here in time? And they will not. Ultra hold off the near 100-point comeback from OpTic Chicago. The crowd, the shots, everything seem to be favoring the green wall. But Toronto, as they have been all season long, they have been the hurdle, they have been the boogeyman, and they will continue to be that in their final meeting here at playoffs.
And it all comes down to that play with Scump, man. He was going on such a streak towards back jungle. If one of his teammates were able to find at least 1 or 2 kills, or at least set up the pinch, because he was doing everything in the backside, man. On a 10 spree, it's not an easy job to get done, but his teammates just couldn't get to that hard point. Ultra were just holding so beautifully, even with the streaks getting called in. They were able to clutch up. They thought about that rotation to P5, and that eventually closes out the series for them.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a look back at that play as well, just to see it again, see exactly kind of what was happening. I know we were looking at Scump's point of view in that moment, but as you said, that position, that moment was pretty much it. I mean, that could have solidified it again. That was the moment. Basketball court was the rotation, but Toronto able to hold off OpTic and get the 3-1 win. It's been a back and forth year for OpTic. As we said, yet to really, I think, get outside of, I think top 3 was their best placement at any major, and they go out here top 6. An excellent performance, in the raid control, but here in Hardpoint, they bring it back, but still lose by 20. But here we go, here's the play stud. What'd you see?
So right here, OpTic, they were able to find 3 kills, but as soon as this 3-kill pops, you shouldn't even be worried about this junk time. You have to think about big picture, getting off that rotation. And Scump, he was able to find 2, but he's the only player there. You have 1 player from Ultra sitting towards Waterside, 1 player from Ultra already at Ring. They find that kill from Zig, but the pinch eventually comes in from Water Steps and from Pillars. It's just great work from Ultra, well coordinated to make sure they executed that break perfectly.
Yeah, just well played from Ultra, as we said, just this team, how great they have been, how great the communication has been for them all year long. They get the presence inside, and really, it's every single player going off. You see Cammy, you see CleanX, you see Bance, and inside as well, having the biggest of performances, and you see what it means, how important it was for them to hold off OpTic and now stay alive here at playoffs. A major series, one that lived up to the hype, but it's Ultra that get the job done once again. And what's that? That's what, 5-0 versus OpTic with this lineup.
It's insane, man. They just could not beat these guys all year long. When you go back all the way to stage 1, that was the only chance they beat Toronto, and that was when Met was on the team. They didn't have the Rookie of the Year in Insight, and ever since he has entered that Toronto roster, he's just been such an impactful player.
Yeah.
Definitely my Rookie of the Year candidate for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt, a number of different players having great performances here from the Toronto Ultra. Just like we said, they get the job done in a 3-1 and stay alive here at playoffs. Again, we don't really know exactly how the rest of things are going to shape up, but that elimination bracket is looking very intimidating right now. But we're going to go ahead and end it for us. We're going to go ahead and send it down to Jess, who's joined alongside by Insight.
Thank you, Lando. That's right. I am joined by Insight for your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Congratulations on rebounding from that tough loss earlier. You're living to fight another day. How do you feel that the team's been playing lately?
You know, I feel great. Obviously, the Dallas game didn't go our way. I felt like we could have won that. Came down to our last round. But, you know, to get a win against OpTic, it means everything for the team.
So next up, you're going to be waiting to face the winner of Røkkr versus Subliners. Is there a matchup that you kind of prefer there?
No, I feel like we're well prepared for both teams. So we'll just see who we play and we'll take it as it comes.
So earlier today, I asked Bance to fill in the blank, and we had to censor him. Good thing it was a recorded interview. We asked him, if Toronto Ultra do not win the title, blank. Before we ask you this, are we going to have to censor you?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, so if Toronto Ultra do not win the title, blank.
If Toronto Ultra do not win the title, at least we gave it our best.
That's fantastic. Well, Insight, thank you so much. Let's hear it for Insight for your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight, and we're going to send it back on over to the casters.
Thank you so much, Jess. Insight, love to hear from that guy as always. Well, I mean, like we said, I don't know in terms of how the Rookie of the Year conversation is going, but a guy that has to be at the top of your list, has a great performance here, and obviously helps lead alongside the other Ultra boys in getting the job done. But we still have to take a look at our scuff play of the game, and specifically, we're taking a look at Cammy here on Moscow Stud.
This was a decision maker. Like, keep in mind, this guy was sitting in the corner, but like I said earlier, he knows that 2 players are definitely going to go for the challenge, so he challenges himself. He finds the first kill, backs Envoy down with the nade, finds a second, and then turns around and just catches Former with his pants down. Easy 3-piece for Cammy. One of the MVP candidates that we had on the year. He just had himself a great series.
Yeah, an excellent series from Cammy, an excellent series from Toronto as they stay alive and take down OpTic Chicago in a 3-1. When we come back after the break, it is the desk covering that series and setting us up for our final match of the day. It's Maven, Merc, and Nameless after this.
You know, let's go. Out of the dust, a legend is born. Born for the game, born for the throne. Up from the ground, and out of the gates. I am the storm, I am the thunder, I am the eye of the hurricane. Yeah, cause I'm the only one that's born for this shit.
Hello and welcome back to CDL Playoffs. The desk, Maven, Merc, Nameless. I'd like to start things off with, you were both wrong.
Thank you. Yes, we were.
That's correct.
I will hold that out.
I didn't pick, so I couldn't be right or wrong.
usually.
But I'm curious, how do you feel, though? Because you both felt like, you know, they've struggled this matchup all year. You thought this was going to be the time they did it, but it felt like more of the same.
Yeah, it did feel like more of the same. But, you know, focusing a little bit more on Ultra, the adjustments they made from Hardpoint in their first series going into that one were just insane. They looked lights out in Hardpoint there. You got big performances out of players like Cammy, and it just seemed like time and time again when they needed to get a break, they got it done.
Cammy won them that series. I mean, literally, he did it in the first Hardpoint. He did it in the Search and Destroy. That big round, I mean, we even just saw it in that game number 4, just towards the end, picking up that flank on the Scump. Scump wins that one. Who knows what happens at P5? But when Cammy had to go big, he did.
Well, speaking of one of those moments, they were going to look at game 1 Hardpoint when he had some spectacular moments, I believe, on P2 and P4, and you guys were like, holy hell. I think you even tweeted, like, Cammy just won them this map.
Yeah.
He was special throughout this show. Take me through it.
No, he absolutely was. And, well, I mean, this is just where Cammy was going big, was right around this P5 area, just time and time again. And, well, it was right before this. Cammy was actually the player who found 3 kills on the rotation. You know, the streaks are called in, but everybody is just staying alive. And Cammy being one of those players on the hill, just staying down, looking over his teammates. But what, it was multiple times where he's the lone man on the opposite side of the map from his teammates. He flips the spawns by himself as he finds individual kills, just one-on-one after one-on-one. Cammy was just doing it all.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, he got those 3 kills on that rotation, and it also happened again on P2. He went around the back, he gets a big gunfight win, stays alive, finesses until his teammates can get there. I mean, the guy's just out there lone wolf status doing the thing.
So I saw a stat from, I think it was Round 11 Stats tweeted right after that, that when you talk about all the hard points on Checkmate for Ultra, they're like plus 400 when you talk about seconds, objective points on P5. The closest of the rest is like plus 130. Joe, what does it take for one team to, I guess, be really lights out on a hard point? Like, how do things click like that?
Well, I think that's just them rotating, right? Winning those spawns. I think that's when you look at sort of their teamwork around P3 or P4. Honestly, when they know that they have to flip the spawns, they go for it. It's their opportunity of, all right, if we don't have the spawns, what do we need to do? That's when you always saw someone hitting frontwood, just playing their life, being annoying. It's what Toronto Ultra has done all year. They've been so good at just making individual plays, but then the teamwork shines.
Well, and I know you didn't pick Ultra in that series because you thought they were a little bit flat in the last one we watched, but now they come out like that, they get a convincing win. This is a team that can make a run, right?
100% this is a team that can make a run. I mean, even in that search and destroy on Moscow, like, OpTic has had their woes on that map, but that's one of their better search and destroys, and Ultra's able to come out and look like that. So, yes, Ultra, if they're winning hard points, I mean, it's going to be tough to take them down. They might make the full run.
Well, let's take a look at how it's gone and how it's going to go with regards to the bracket for championship weekend. You just saw the Ultra versus OpTic matchup, and now I guess we can kind of transition across. Let's start talking about Subliners versus Røkkr. This is a tough one to choose, John. I don't want picks yet, but I guess kind of how do you feel about this matchup?
Well, I think, you know, Chance was talking in the back. This is just not a matchup that we've seen very often. I think they've played twice, and you know, it's 1-1. So I think for, you know, both of these teams, it's really not a matchup that we see too often. So
they've never played with these rosters.
Well, there you go.
We've never seen it. So it's going to be interesting, right? Like, because you look at this matchup and it's like one team's good at 2-3-5, one team's good at 1-4. Who takes it?
Well, this might be a silly question, but I think midway through the year is a little bit different than champs time. How does it change the preparation maybe when you've literally never played each other in?
Well, I mean, for these guys going into it, they haven't had much time to prepare for this match, right? Because Røkkr didn't expect to be in this position, and then New York is just coming off of that loss. So it's really just going to be coming in and doing your best. You're not going to have that much preparation whatsoever. So looking at this, I mean, map 1 in the vetoes is Garrison. New York 7-0 on that map. So for Røkkr, like, hardpoint might be very tough in this one.
I feel like when we've watched both these teams, Joe, over the past couple of months, I know there's been some changes with the NYSL side, but they've looked really, really good in winning an event or getting a second place, or they've looked flat and very beatable.
No, 100%. And I think that's what makes this interesting because, you know, you probably say, well, NYSL, they've had a really tough day, but they played Atlanta FaZe, and it was just a 3-0. And again, so they have to bounce back from that, similar to the way Toronto Ultra just did. You know, you got a game under your belt. You got to fix your mistakes, but you got to forget about the loss, and that's when the leadership like Clay comes into play.
All right, well, we've got a couple of minutes before we're actually headed to break for the next match. So I want to ask you real quick. We're going to go back in time, man. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
OpTic, it's a tough loss. It's been an up and down year. We know there's a lot of commotion around people being available. You saw the entire Surge team let go. You think changes are in the future, or is this something you stick with and work on like they did throughout the course of the year?
Oh man, that is a tough question, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, you know what? I think you definitely entertain it. You look at what happened this year with a lot of these teams. You think a roster like LA Thieves probably going to make some more shuffles. You got some players like Octane now that are out there. So I think you have to entertain it if you're OpTic Chicago. They have a fantastic core roster, but they weren't able to figure it out this year. What makes it different that they'll be able to figure it out next year?
You had enough time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question. For me, I've said it all year. I think it just comes down to preparation and just the way they practice. The fact that you're making the same mistakes over and over and over again, there is a core issue here. I don't know what it is. We're not there every single day, but something might have to change.
Okay, I was just curious on your thoughts. I know it's hard to answer because we don't know where things are going to go. But now let's focus back to the match at hand, the one coming up and around the corner for Røkkr versus NYSL. It's time to get our picks in. Ant, we'll start with you.
3-2 Røkkr. They're going to come out and take it in 2-3-5, get it done there in the round 11 at the end.
Okay, 2-3-5, Røkkr win. Joe.
I'm going NYSL 3-1. I think that they're just going to bounce back. I think it wasn't their best showing in that first match against Atlanta FaZe. I think they're going to come out guns blazing.
Well, boys, I appreciate you being just incredibly insightful, talented, and beautiful as always on the desk, but that's going to do us here for headquarters. We're getting ready for our final match of the day. It's been a bloodbath. The action continues on. Miles and Chance to bring you the action with Røkkr, NYSL on the other side of this break.
You know, I'm legendary. You know. Let's go.
There is a status reserved for a select few throughout history. For those remembered for more than just a name, it's a title even kings die in vain for.
Out of the dust, a legend is born for the game.